Just a few words about the HN125 and the myth of all Chinese bikes being crap. I'll get into specifics in a minute, but if you want to see what actual owners of this bike, or any bike, feel about it, check out the reviews at reviewcenter.com and you'll see that 62 owners of the HN have rated it 4.3 stars out of 5. Now, to put that in perspective, the excellent Honda CG125, which the HN is basically a Chinese copy of, has the exact same rating from its 58 reviewers as does the popular Yamaha YBR125 from 102 reviewers. So you can see that people who actually own the bike rate it as pretty good. In fact, for reliability, it does have an average rating of 4.3 out of 5 stars. My HN is a late 2011 model. I brought it 6 months ago. It's all stock except for one extra tooth on the front sprocket and a slightly larger jet in the carb. I'm a heavy chap, 17 stone, and it still cruises comfortably at around 50 to 55 miles per hour with a top speed of around 60. I have had a few problems with it. In its third year, which is when I brought it, the centre stand broke, so I had to remove it. To be fair, it was only the weld that broke. The stand itself is actually still fine. But yes, the centre stand broke, and a few months earlier the fuel cap stuck on and had to be replaced. I also had to replace a broken speedo cable and a low beam bulb. Oh, and one that vibrated off, but more on that later on. And that's it. The bike rides nice, looks nice, has a very good riding position, gets about 90 to 100 miles to the gallon, and you can buy them new for around £800. Lots of people say the Chinese make crap bikes, and sometimes they do, but the HN, which is also sold under the better known Vixen name, is definitely one of the better ones. I won't lie, the bike does vibrate quite a bit. One engine mount that vibrated off after 3 years of use, which sounds scary, but honestly it's got quite a few mounting bolts and this was only one of them. And the build quality is not up to, say, Honda standards. For example, on mine there's a small gap at the bottom of the plastic casing for the gear indicator, and the handlebars are very fractionally offset to one side, so minutely that I actually didn't notice for a while. But that's to do with the people who assemble the bike, and it's not actually a fault with the bike itself. The bike itself is fun. It sounds great with its twin exhausts, and a surprising number of people stop and ask, is it really a 125? Because it doesn't look like a learner legal bike. It keeps up just fine on dual carriageways, and despite the myths you hear that Chinese bikes rust away in seconds as soon as they see water, this one doesn't. I use it a lot in the rain. When I'm at work or at my friends, it's quite often left outside in the rain uncovered, and like any bike, yeah, it's going to get some surface rust, but if you keep your bike clean it once a week or even once a month, that's not going to be a problem and it will clean away easily. If you're on a tight budget, then the HN is definitely one of the best Chinese bikes. Should you go for what is essentially a cheap and cheerful budget bike, whether you buy new or used, if you follow these simple steps, you shouldn't have any problems with it whatsoever. 1. When you get it, check all the nuts are nice and tight. Like I said, I didn't, and after quite a few months, one of the nuts vibrated off. 2. Check the tyre pressures now and then. If you don't like the tyres it comes with, just change them for something better. And 3. Remember to check the oil level and how tight or loose the chain is. You should do that with every bike anyway, it's basic bike safety, but a lot of people don't bother doing that, and then they wonder why they have a problem later on. The HN is my only form of transport, so I use it a lot. I can easily do 200 miles a week, so I think I'm qualified to say what it's really like, rather than somebody who's never used a Chinese bike in their life and just believes everything they read on the forums. And I'll be honest, I brought my HN because I was on a very tight budget. After my Suzuki Marauder was stolen, I wanted a cheap bike, but one that wouldn't be rubbish, and another Marauder was just out of my price range. A friend pointed out the HN, I did some research and heard a lot of good things about it and decided to take a chance on it. I was very, very weary. I mean, we've all heard the stories about Chinese bikes, and it is Chinese after all, but aside from the few issues mentioned earlier, it's been good. I have to admit, I do like it, it has character and it makes me smile, and I honestly doubt that for £800 new you could buy a better budget bike than this. I'm not saying rush out and buy one, get the best you can afford, ideally a well-known brand name if you have the money, but I am saying that if you don't have a lot of money spare, and you want or you need a good bike, then the HN1258 is a good bike. Just keep it clean and do the basics like check your oil level and chain tension as you should with any motorbike, and you'll be fine. One other thing is, there's a good review of the HN on YouTube, but on there it suggests that filtering is a bit more difficult with the HN than on other bikes. Well, as you can probably tell from the accompanying video here, which a lot of which is me filtering through traffic, me personally I disagree with that, as I really enjoy filtering with the HN. But anyway, overall a good, cheap and cheerful but enjoyable motorbike.